Hello, happy Friday. This is our last surface area lesson. It's actually our last lesson of chapter 11. So today we're doing the surface area of prisms and cylinders. You have already seen those formulas on your formula sheet. So just a quick little bit of vocab. The surface area of a solid is we already know this because we have already talked about surface area a little bit. The surface area is the sum of the areas of all the faces of a solid. So just adding all of the areas together. Sometimes we don't physically have to find all of the areas because there is a formula that kind of helps it go like a little bit faster, which we saw with pyramids for sure. So here's just kind of some describing what prisms are. They do have one set of parallel and congruent bases, and the height needs to be perpendicular to the base. So even if it's an oblique prism, remember that means it's like slanted, the height is still perpendicular to the base. So they're showing us that. So the formula for surface area is on your formula sheet. So I'm just copying it down. Just like always, capital B is area of the base. P is the perimeter of one base. That's kind of key. The perimeter of just one of those shapes. And then H is the height of the prism. So what I'm going to do down here is we're finding the area, that should say surface area, of the triangular prism. It tells you it's a triangular prism, so that means the bases are triangles, because it even tells you that. So whatever shape it is, that's the shape of the base. So if it's a triangular prism, the base is a triangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the components that need to go into our formula. So big B is going to be the area of the base. It's a triangle, so it's half base times height. When we look at this triangle, we know if they show us on the bottom, this is 9, and then this is 12 down here. So therefore, the base and the height of the triangle, they have to be perpendicular. So I'm going to call one of them 9 and one of them 12. If you multiply that out, you should end up getting 54 square meters for the area of the base. I'm going to plug that in somewhere in a minute. So for now, I'm just going to kind of hold on to it. I need that number in a minute. Then the perimeter of the base. So when you're doing the perimeter, it's just of one base. So the bases are those congruent and parallel triangles. So just do the perimeter of one of them. So it would be 9 plus 12 plus 15. Just add all the way around. 9 plus 12 plus 15 is 36. So hold on to that number. It's not really our answer, but we'll need it in a minute. So the surface area of a prism, the formula is above on your notes, and it's also on your formula sheet. It's S equals 2B plus PH. So I'm just plugging into that. I know that big B is 54, so I'm going to put a 54 there. P is the perimeter of the base, which I found to be 36. H is the height of the prism, which is 16. So just plug that into a calculator. You should end up getting 684 square meters. So that is our final answer there. On the next page, there's some more where we're just kind of plugging into the formula. So I'm going to go on to the next page now. So on the next page, I believe we have 4 of them on this page. Kind of similarly, we're just plugging into that 2B plus PH thing. So I'm going to find the components first that go into my formula. So like my B and my P I need. So big B is the area of the base. Oops, I did not mean to do that. This appears to be a rectangular prism. So we can think of the base as any one of those rectangles actually, but I'm going to think of this one as being the base. And then, therefore the top would be another base. So big B is the area of the base. It's a rectangle. So it'd be 7 times 13. 7 times 13 is 91. Then I'm going to find P, which is the perimeter of the base. The perimeter of the base, we know that this side, I'm just trying to draw an arrow, that side of the rectangle would be 13, and then this side would be 7. So therefore the perimeter of the bottom, we just need to add all the way around. So it'd be 7 plus 13 plus 13, which ends up being 40. So again, those are not really my answers. So now I'm just going to plug them into the surface area formula. So I know that surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus PH. This is my area of the base, that goes there. This is my P, that goes there. The height of the prism is 9. I can tell in my picture. So it'd be 2 times 91 plus 40 times my height, which is 9. Plug that into the calculator and you should get 542 square feet. So that's your final answer on that one. The next one looks like it's a trapezoidal prism. So the base is not actually on the bottom on this one. The base would be like this front side and then the back side as well. So that side and the back one are your bases. So it's kind of like turned on its side and upside down a little bit. So I'm trying to see if I have all the numbers I need to find the area of that trapezoid, and I believe I do. So this would be 18 over here. I have the height, I have the two bases. Okay, so we're good. So big B is the area of the base. It's a trapezoid. So the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 h. The height of the trapezoid is 12.4 times B1 plus B2, which is the parallel sides added together, which is 18 and 10. You just go ahead and type that into a calculator. You should end up getting 173.6 for big B. Remember, you will not be provided with that trapezoid area formula, so you do need to know it. It is on the first page of these notes too. So it's 1/2 h and then B1 plus B2. I will need that number in a minute. P is the perimeter of the base, which the base is a trapezoid. So I do have all three sides. So this is 13 because it's parallel to that. And then this is also 13 because it shows you that they're equal. So the perimeter of the base would be 13 plus 10 plus 13 plus 18. So just add all of those numbers together. So the perimeter of the base should be 54. So then we're just going to plug into our surface area formula, which is 2b plus ph. So big B, the area of the base, goes there. P, the perimeter of the base, goes there. So it'd be 173.6 plus 54. The height of the prism, going back to look at this picture, do they tell us the height of the prism? The height is 9 because it needs to be this part's a little bit confusing, I feel like, so I'm going to try to highlight it. Remember, the height is not always like up and down. It's just like the segment connecting the bases, and it needs to be perpendicular to them, so that's actually the height because it's kind of like turned on its side. So the height is 9. You end up getting 833.2 millimeters squared. The next one is a cylinder. So on a cylinder, you really just need the radius and the height of the prism, which I believe we had. So this is our first cylinder. So the cylinder and prism surface area formula is the same. So for both of them, we need to find big B and the perimeter. So big B here is the base area, which is the area of that circle, because the base of a cylinder is a circle. So it'd be pi times 11 squared. For now, I'm just going to leave that like that or make it 121 pi to plug into the formula just so it stays in that like exact form, so I'm not rounding it. Either way is fine. Either leave it pi times 11 squared or 121 pi. The perimeter of the base is actually the circumference formula because it's a circle. So you have to use 2 pi r as the circumference formula. So it's going to be 2 pi times the radius, which is 11. So I'm just going to leave it in exact form again. So 2 times 11 is 22 pi. So this is my big B. This is my perimeter of the base. This is my height of the cylinder. So just plug in. So our formula for surface area of a cylinder is the same as surface area of a prism. It's 2 times B. B is 121 pi. Or you can leave that pi times 11 squared. That's fine, as long as you type it properly. Plus P. H is the height of the prism, which we said was 26. Type that all in the calculator. 2557.3 yards squared on that one. Then the last one, part of this is like identifying what shape it is. This very last shape on the bottom is definitely a triangular prism. It's not sitting on its bottom, but this triangle is congruent to that back triangle. So those are our bases. So let's see if we have everything we need. The height is going to be the distance between the bases. So the height of the prism is 21. These are the base and the height of the triangle, which we also need for the area. We do need to find the hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem, because we're going to need that for the perimeter of the base. So it's 8 squared plus 15 squared equals that side squared. I'll just call it C. You end up getting C is 17 when you solve that. So it is a Pythagorean triple. They're all integers. So that's 17. So then we can start identifying our big B as the area of the base. The base is a triangle, so it's half base times height. So it's half 8 times 15, which ends up being 60. And then the other piece of information that we need on all these is P, which is the perimeter of the base, which is why I needed to find that 17. So the perimeter of this triangle, add all the way around, would be 8 plus 15 plus 17, which is 40. Then just plug into your formula again. If this seems a bit repetitive, that's a good thing because it means you understand what's going on. So our formula is 2b plus pH. So 2, the area of the base is 60. We know that that goes there. P, the perimeter of the base is 40, times the height of the prism we said was 21. So it end up getting 960. All right, so that's it on that page. And then we just have one more of these. So on this one, another regular polygon. So it says assume the base of the polygon is regular. Looks like we don't have the apothem. So once again, to find the base area, we're going to need the apothem. To find the area of that, looks like it's a pentagon. It has sides, 5 sides. So to do that, we're going to use this like triangle. So remember in that triangle, this is our apothem. This would be half of our side length. We can tell over here, you have to look to the other side of the pentagonal prism. We can see the side length is 8. So this side that I'm highlighting in blue would actually be 4, because it'd be half of that. So this is 4. The angle, to get the angle on these, you always take 360 divided by the number of sides, which gives you 72. But that 72, as I'm trying to show you on the picture, again, that is that whole angle. So the angle in the triangle actually has to be half of that. So that's 36 degrees. Remember on these, you're pretty much always using tangent unless they give you the radius. So to say tangent 36 equals 4 over A. Solve that for the apothem because we're going to need it. So you have A tan 36 equals 4, divide by tan 36, and you get the apothem. So I'm just going to real quick make sure my calculator is on degree mode, which it should be. I'm going to take 4 divided by tan 36, and I'm going to get 5.5, etc. So I'm going to say it's about 5.5 for the apothem. All right, so then just do the same thing we've been doing on all these. So big B is the area of the base, which is 1/2 apothem times perimeter. So 1/2. The apothem is approximately 5.5. And then the perimeter of the base would be 8 times 5 because it's a pentagon. So the perimeter would be 40. So that's the area of the base. And when you multiply that out, I'm taking the whole thing on the calculator, not just 5.5. You end up getting like 110.11, etc. Then P is the perimeter of the base, which we actually already know is 40. Because it's a pentagon and it's regular, so it'd be 8 times 5, which is 40. So now just plug into our surface area formula. It's 2b plus pH. So b, remember, is this answer, plus p. The height of the prism has to be 20, because it's got to be the distance like connecting those two parallel and congruent pentagons. So h is 20. So this, again, is our 2b plus pH. So I just plugged in our B, and our P. And then 20 is the height of the prism. When I put that in the calculator, I'm going to use the answer button on this so that it's more accurate. So I'm going to take 2 times our previous answer plus 40 times 20. I'm going to get about 1020.2 approximately centimeters squared because it's an area. That is approximate. All right, there are some you tries on there. I know some of you might be working a little bit ahead of this video. I will upload the answers later, but these are kind of repeats of questions we already did, so I'm not going to go through them right now. Same with this one, it's also a repeat. So I will upload the answer key on Google Classroom. Actually, I think I already put it on there. So those are all repeats. So we're going to get down to this bottom part here, the going backwards stuff. So this one, it tells us the surface area, and we need to find the length of the box. We don't know what the length is. I'm going to kind of start this just how I started all the other ones, which is to find big B and find P. Even if we can't find them, we'll just find an expression for it. So when it's a rectangular prism, it doesn't really matter what you think of as the base, but I'm going to think of the actual bottom as the base. So it's a rectangle. So the area of this rectangle is 2 times L. So the area of the base is 2L. Not to be confused with slant height. That L just means length of the base. And then the perimeter of the base, it's a rectangle, so it'd be 2 plus 2 plus L plus L. So this would be 2, this would be 2 over here, and then L and L. So the perimeter would be 2 plus 2 plus L plus L. Combine like terms and you get 4 plus 2L. So now I have an expression for big B and an expression for P, meaning I don't actually know what they equal, but I have something like for them that I can plug in. So I know that the surface area is 272. So I'm going to set that equal to my formula, which remember is 2, I'm just going to write it again here, 2B plus PH. So 2B, we don't know what it is, so just plug like that 2L there. So there's 2B plus P, same thing, we don't know what it is. H is the height of the cereal box, which is 12. Then we just need to solve that for L. So just do the algebra. Like we always say, these going backwards ones are just algebra. I'm going to distribute this 12. So I get 12 times 4 is 48, plus 12 times 2 is 24. So I have that. Combine like terms. You have 272. Combine the L's. I see an L here and here. So if I combine those, I get 28L plus 48. Solve that. I get 224. 28L. Divide by 28. I'm kind of running out of room. Divide by 28, you end up getting this slant height is 8 inches. Or not the slant height. Oops. See, I confused myself. So that L, we're so used to it being like the slant height. It's not in this case. It's like the length of the cereal box. So don't say the cursive L. Just write it like that. The length is 8 inches. And then we just have one more. By the way, if at any point this video went too fast for you or you want to go back and watch it, it is on Google Classroom in today's post. So if you want to watch it this weekend or before the test, you can. And like I said, I already have the notes key in there too. So the surface area is 51.84. If the diameter is 3, find the height. So it's a cylinder. They give me some information. So I like to try to find if the diameter is 3, then the radius is 1.5. We're using the same formula, that 2B plus pH. So let's just find big B is the area of the base, which is pi r squared, because it's a circle. I'm actually just going to leave it like that, and then I'll plug it in exactly in that form. Then P is the perimeter of the base. Remember, because it's a circle, it's 2 pi r, so it'd be 2 pi times 1.5. You can multiply the 2 and the 1.5, and you end up getting 3 pi. So that's your P. So then it tells me the perimeter is 51.84, or the surface area, sorry. It tells me the surface area is 51.84. Plug that into your 2B plus pH. So 2, this is your B, plug that whole thing right there. there's 2b, plus p is the perimeter, and then the height, we don't know. So just put an h there. And then you just need to do algebra to solve that for h. So you can, at this point, figure out, let's see, approximately what this equals. So if you type that in the calculator, you should get, I think it's about 14. I'm going to write down a few digits here. 1372. Type this in the calculator. 3 times pi is about 9.42. And then you just want to solve that. So just subtract this from both sides. I'm actually not using the answer button because this calculator I was using died at the moment. So I'm just using the answers that I wrote down, which are 4 decimal places. So I have 37.7028. And then you want to divide because you want to solve for h. So h is about 4 inches. I think it rounds to, I think it should be exactly 4 actually. All right, so that is it for your notes. Remember, this is the last lesson of the unit. It's a lot of plugging into formulas and then a little bit of algebra. So your homework for today is a worksheet that will be passed out in a minute. And then remember, next week is kind of a big week. We have a group quiz. And that group quiz is on volume and surface area. And that's on Tuesday. We will review on Monday. And then you have a test. Because there's so much to review and I want to make sure that I get the group quiz passed back, your test is going to be next Friday. And that's on all of Chapter 11, all of it. So this is the 24th. And this is Tuesday, must be the 21st. Okay, I think that's it. I will put this on Google Classroom for you to look at if you need to later, and have a good weekend.